Well, well, well. It's 90 days for Marky Mark and his spendy bunch. 90 days. That's how long it's been since Mark Carney swept into the office of Prime Minister on a wave of elite endorsements, media manipulation and swooning, and promises of economic brilliance. He called it the crisis of a lifetime. He told us only he had the experience, the connections, the vision to lead Canada through it. Well, here we are, 90 days later. It's time for a reality check here, I think, Mark, because what we've witnessed isn't bold leadership. It's been one of the worst, probably most reckless, most tone deaf starts to any prime ministership in Canadian history. Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things. I'm Chris Baker. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and commenting. Love the conversations down below. It's what's helping get Canada's information out. This isn't just about broken promises. This is about a man who sold himself as Canada's savior and has instead shown himself to be a hollow vessel of globalist slogans, cocktail party posturing, and economic chaos. Yes, we are talking about Prime Minister Mark Carney because here we are on the 90-day anniversary. Mark Carney has had 90 days, and in that time, he's proven one thing. He's not ready. Not for this job, not for this moment, not for this country. So let's start with the most dangerous red flag of all, the spendies. Everyone within his government. Carney's reckless and irresponsible approach to government spending has damaged this country irreparably for at least decades to come. Within weeks of taking office, he proposed nearly $60 billion in new spending without a single credible plan on how to pay for it. That's on top of Canada already staring down the barrel of a nearly $1 trillion debt. And if you think he didn't actually spend that money yet, he has permission from the Governor General to do so. And where's the money going? The CBC, vanity projects, duplicative climate initiatives, bloated departments, a digital inclusion council. What even is that? It's stocked with former liberal donors. I think we probably should check that one out. All while middle class families are still drowning in grocery bills, rent hikes, and tax increases. The finance department itself hasn't been able to explain how this spending won't fuel even more inflation. And guess what? Neither can Carney. But wait a minute. This is the so-called world-class economist. He can't even balance his own nation's books? What are we doing here? And why is this okay? Nobody's asking questions in the mainstream media, and it's really scary. Now, if we talk about Carney's trade negotiations, we can take it to scary level too, because his strategy with the United States, well, if you can even call it a strategy, is nightmarish at best. He called it in the beginning elbows up, and every liberal voter believed it. He said he'd go toe to toe with President Trump on tariffs, especially after the Americans hammered us over the digital services tax. And he stood firm on that for 17 hours. But what actually happened? Well, Carney surrendered. And we know that. We don't want to talk too in depth with it, but Canada blinked first. And when you blink first, guess who loses? We pulled the tax right off the table, and we got absolutely nothing in return for that. And no breakthrough deal, no tariff relief, no roadmap, just another new deadline. August 1st now, apparently. But we all know we're likely to miss that. And he's still spinning it like he's negotiating hard for us, like he himself is sitting down talking to Donald Trump. Please, nobody believes this anymore, Mark. Other nations are signing deals left, right, and center around us, including Japan this past week. Carney is signing event invitations to the Muskokas. He's RSVPing to Doug Ford's mansion. Remember when Carney said that the Canada Growth Bond Program would be operational by now? Okay. Well, there's still no timeline as far as I know. Anybody else seen it? Remember his bold claim to increase Canada's military spending to 2% of GDP by the end of the year? It's going to be the eighth month of the year, Bob. Still no plan, still no procurement, Still no respect at all for this or any belief we're going to hit it by the world stage. He even stood on a podium in Calgary and promised an energy transition that includes absolutely everyone, except he put a bill together, Bill C5, that gives every stakeholder a veto over pipelines. Translation: nothing will get built. It's regulatory gridlock dressed up as some kind of progress he likes to tell you about. It's all theater. It's all sound bites, sound bites, sound bites, more sound bites from Mark Carney. It's all grandstanding. That's what he does. But behind the curtain, there's actually no substance, just delay, deflection, and it sounds like dysfunction. The amount of people he kicks out of his office for not being prepared, a little bit scary. I don't know if I'd ever want to work for this guy. The tone deafness of this whole thing, too, is terrible. While Canadians line up at food banks and watch their mortgage payments skyrocket, have you seen Ron Butler's latest videos? Where was Carney in all of this? Sipping whiskey, of course, with Doug Ford. Likely American whiskey Doug Ford unlocked from the LCBO cabinet, right, Dougie? And a multi-million dollar Muskoka estate. I can't even get over that. And the fact that the way they talked about it, just filthy. Flying to G7 photo ops in Alberta wasn't a great look either. Not to secure deals, of course, but to lecture global leaders on sustainable finance. How'd that go? We haven't heard anything about that since. Meeting with billionaires in London, UK, while dodging questions on housing and affordability back here at home. Anybody building those sea cans for you yet, Mark? And let's not forget the first ministers' meetings that we've had this year, like 7 of them, even before the election. And the most recent one in Huntsville, it turned into a backpatting cottage retreat. No real movement. U.S. trade not really talked about. It's kind of talked about. They didn't even really talk about interprovincial cooperation except for here and there. This is what elite governance looks like. Well-lit fireside chats, catered lunches and photo ops while the country burns both economically and in reality with wildfires. What are we doing here? Why are we sitting in Muskoka chit-chatting away and sipping whiskey? Carney himself declared this the crisis of a lifetime, and yet we're at 5-star resorts. So what did his government do after passing Bill C5, for example? Because that seems like something that got done. Whoa, wait a minute. They passed it and then they went on vacation for 12 weeks. That's right. Parliament rose for summer on June 20th and won't return until mid-September. Your kids will be well back to school by then. No emergency sessions, no committees, no recalling of Parliament whatsoever, no response to the escalating crises around the world, no urgency around the flailing U.S.-Canada trade. Nothing. Nothing. There's no actual urgency around trade. If you think there was, I don't know where you're getting that from because the deadline has been pushed 6 times. Even as global tensions rise, as the cost of living skyrockets, and as our NATO obligations are scrutinized, Carney is taking the summer off because apparently the crisis of a lifetime doesn't interfere with tea times and lakeside leisure or cranberry apple teenies. Apparently, it's just on the side. So, hey, what are we going to do? And then there's the conflicts of interest that have just come out. And since taking office, new information, of course, has surfaced about Mark Carney's conflicts of interest and his tangled web of global allegiances. He continues to appear closely aligned with many of the companies he's invested in. He now has to recuse himself from over 100 companies if they come up in discussion. European financial elites he's close to. He's close to UN advisory boards and green investment firms, some of which stand to benefit from Canadian policy shifts that he's championing, and also stand to benefit potentially from failure in Canada. So where's that firewall? Where's that transparency? To this day, he's failed to release a full account of all of his financial holdings. We've had to get them ourselves. I mean, Moose on the Loose put out more than anybody else has on this. Board memberships and advisory roles he held with the UK and EU are still in mostly secrecy, and yet somehow the media treats him like some sort of neutral public servant. Sorry, but you don't get to lead Canada while holding hands with Davos. That's not public service, that's public betrayal. So what does this all mean then? Well, Mark Carney promised. He promised competence. He promised that. And yet we got chaos. He promised world class leadership. We got globalist echo chambers. He promised action. And what did we get? We just get announcements, more announcements. It's none of it's actual action or anything that's gotten done. He promised to fight for Canadians. He's barely even speaking to Canadians. Have you, even when you watched him skulk around the Calgary Stampede, how many residents did he really talk to other than the photo op that he did where he shook hands coming down the line? 3 months in, and Canadians are already asking, how much worse could this country possibly get economically? Because in 90 days, Mark Carney has shown us exactly who he is and exactly who, frankly, half of us thought he was going to be, which is why we didn't vote for him. An elite economist who governs from spreadsheets and salons, not from the heart, not from the ground, and certainly not for the people. So here's the thing. We got to call all of this out. And you're all great at this. I've seen your comments on all of my videos over the last few months, and we need more of it. So here's your 90-day review, Mark Carney. Here is your 90-day Prime Minister review. You get an F for failure. You get an F for false promises. You get an F for forgetting who you serve. But here's the good news. Canadians are paying attention. Like I said, I've seen it in your comments. And if this is the best you've got, Mark, we're more ready than ever to demand better as Canadians. So if you're watching this and you agree it's time for real leadership, not champagne summits and economic retreats and smoke shows, hit that like button. Don't forget to share this video as well. Let's get this message out and let's start commenting and pushing back. And let's keep holding this government accountable because someone has to. And it clearly watchdogs and others are not. So it might as well be you and I. So I'm Chris Baker. Thanks for watching Bakes on Things. And Mark Carney, Mark, we are just getting started, my friend. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.